We just got done with Christmas and survived, thank goodness. But one thing we do enjoy doing as a family is checking out houses with their festive decorative lighting. Now, it's safe to say that LED lights are quite standard nowadays everywhere you look, but not so much smart lighting. I probably saw like 2, maybe 3 houses with actual smart LEDs this time. And I understand why regular string lights are still the way to go. They're way cheaper by the foot, they're fuss-free, and you can easily find these on a post-holiday clearance rack somewhere, right? Now, that being said, there is a new wave of smart outdoor lights that make a stronger argument for the higher initial cost of entry, like this $300 EUFY E120 permanent outdoor light system. Not only does it offer more color scheme options through AI, it integrates with your current EUFY security system, and I'll talk more about that in a second. And this is one of my favorite bits. The quality of the emitted light looks like something professionally installed. So in this video, I'm gonna shed some light on the E120 to see if this thing is truly dope or nope. Let's find out after these messages. The EUFY E120 retails for $300, and in here there are 60 light nodes in each set. And check out this presentation. You can open the box and plug it in, and you can test or just demo the lights like this. And each set is made up of 6 light strings of 5 meters in length each. So combined with the power source wiring, the E120 covers roughly slightly more than 100 feet or roughly 30 meters. And that comes up to around $3 per foot for what it's worth. Now, each node is dual LED, so there's one dedicated RGB and one 3K warm white light. It's also dimmable, obviously, with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity. There's Lumino Link security automation as well. That's basically a link with EUFY security cams, and we'll talk more about that feature later on. So here's one of the light modules. They're connected by flat cables, which is nice to keep flush to whatever surface you have on. Dual LEDs, as we mentioned before. Each one of them is protected by these kind of shrink wrap protector, and on the back there's 3M tape, which is really strong, guys. I had this installed in the dead of winter, and these have not failed me yet. So we'll see once the weather warms up if that changes. But just in case, EUFY also includes physical hardware that you can install and mount these if any of those fail, or if you just want a peace of mind. IP67 water dust resistance and operating temperature. This one's important, all the way down to -4 degrees, all the way up to 140, and with 55,000 hours of operational life. These lights connect through this power module right here through your phone or whatever device you have with the EUFY Life app. And I have down here, you can use the quick links where I talk about the app in a little bit more detail. The power brick is right here, and the connectors are down here. They're not waterproof, these two things. The power module, the control module, and the power brick are not waterproof. So that's something to take into consideration. Before we go on, let's quickly talk about the EUFY Life app, which is used to control these lights. The main screen shows connected devices, which in this context allows you to quickly power cycle and adjust the brightness of the E120 lights. Tapping on the parrot light shows more granular customization options, and I could definitely turn blue talking about everything it has to offer, so I'm gonna jump straight into just the highlights. Since AI is the hot buzzword everywhere nowadays, there's an AI-based generator tool front and center to help create unique scenes. If you're feeling particularly lazy, just tap Magic Dice and let the app surprise you. You can also use preset statements or get more personal using the AI light chat feature. You just type what you specifically like to see in a sentence, or even just use a keyword or two, and boom, done. What's nice to see is that by tapping the pencil icon top right here, allows users to fine-tune the AI-generated colors as well as the speed even more. The next panel over is ambiance. Tons to choose from here, from festive scenes to seasonal themes. Daily is if you like straightforward, like warm, cool, pure white colors. One of my favorites, actually. And then there's customized, where there's control for each individual module on each string. That's powerful, guys. You can decide whether each LED lights or not, what color or hue for it to display, add dynamic actions, and so on. Now, Light Planner is a powerful scheduler where you can plan to have a preset scene play on a particular holiday all year long, or whatever day and time of the year you choose. The last tab is Lumino-Link, where users can create basic if this then that behaviors using existing EUFY cameras. So basically the lights can be set to come on with a specific pattern of your choosing when, say, a person triggers the cameras. The combination of size and wattage of the LED modules, the focus spread of the lens, plus dual LED setup makes this like comparing, I don't know, a 4K TV versus a 1080p TV. This is like high-res lights for your house exterior. Which makes sense, right? When you spend more on lights like these, you better be getting superior optics, superior innards, and output. And the E120 has this in spades. The vibrancy, the brightness really makes even like my lowly detached garage with bones from the early 1900s, for crying out loud, stand out and look fantastic even when there's still some sunlight out. The other day, my wife and I commented candidly when we first saw the lights turn on, how well these would complement something like hosting a backyard party or movie night. You know, you can just make it as subtle and flashy as you like. Maybe it's just me, but the spacing between the bulbs and the way the light diffuses against the surface of my house makes it almost look like professionally installed recessed lighting. I mean, obviously it's not, but I think this thing lies somewhere in between. It doesn't have the tackiness of string lights, but it's definitely like less expensive than spending buku cash on upgrading your exterior lighting to begin with. Besides the super versatile lighting and scheduling schemes, probably one of my favorite features of the E120, and this one is huge guys, is the ability to pair with exterior EUFY cameras already installed around your house. So, for example, I have a couple of S120 solar lights and Cam3 cameras covering my yard, my driveway, and then also the exterior of my home, obviously. So, what you can do is pair the lights with any or all the cameras to serve as proximity lighting, whether it's for safety, fun, or security purposes. Okay, so like, for example, with Valentine's Day coming up, the moment the camera picks up on your spouse coming home from work, coming up the driveway, you can have the lights automatically play a romantic theme to, set the mood. Or if the camera sends your teenager coming back past curfew, the lights will flash as an alert, for what it's worth. Now, the only downside to how this whole thing works is that the camera triggers the lights only if it actually sees a person. It won't work if a car pulls up the driveway and or if the passengers exiting the car are out of visual range of the camera. I am putting price in the neutral territory because yes, if you're used to paying tens of dollars for your LED lights, obviously 300 buckaroos ain't gonna show up on your radar, innit? But I think this is where I come in. It's literally my job to educate why both sides of the coin should be considered as you're researching for these kind of lights for your needs, for example. So on one hand, if you want something cheap, something quick and easy that you can just plug in without Wi-Fi or apps to install, might have basic functionality through a remote, like preset patterns, reactive lights that respond to music and such, then by all means, there are plenty to choose from out there. On the flip side, and we've already talked about this just a few minutes ago, if you want something that looks 3 to 4 times better in terms of output and vibrancy, has tons of customization options, Lumino-Link support, firmware fixes and feature adds further down the line, higher quality materials, and longer lasting LEDs, because I haven't mentioned this yet, repairability is not an option on these. Something like the EUFY E120 should definitely be on your list. Last fall, I installed the Soundcore Beatlight B32 outdoor rated LED strip lights, and then now we have this set from EUFY in my house. And if you didn't know already, Soundcore and EUFY are part of the Anchor Corporation. Now, I don't mind competition from within the company, but where I'm getting at is from a consumer point of view. Between the light strips and these smart lights, I need 2 apps to control them. Actually 3 when you include the camera system. So what I think needs to happen is that the company needs to think about streamlining some of their services. Like in this case, instead of a separate EUFY Security and EUFY Live app, why not just be one? You want to know what the most hated thing about the lights for me are? And this might sound random. It's these things right here. These stupid protective wrapping. Now hear me out for a second. The installation itself is bloody easy, guys. I'll give it like a level 1.5 in terms of DIY difficulty. So I believe if you can hang a poster on a wall with 3M tape, you will have no problems. But here's the thing though, the EUFY applied protective wrap, or whatever they want to call it, makes installation so much harder because they put it on every single module to protect the lens, and I understand that. But I wish they were like dedicated lift tabs for each one of them, because as it is, around 80% out of the box of those wraps end up sticking to the modules like sticky shrink wrap. Imagine fighting with the wraps up on the ladder. It basically becomes a chore real quick. And what about folks with stiff joints or carpal tunnel? I really pity them. And don't get me started on the amount of plastic waste let loose everywhere, because these things statically cling to everything they touch. I'm doing this in the middle of winter, guys. So today is the warmest day of the week at I think 35 degrees right now. My hands are freezing. I'm not gonna bother with doing the house. I'm gonna do that later when it's warmer, when spring comes. But I'm doing the garage where the eaves are slightly lower, and I've lined, let me show you, I've lined the garage so far underneath with the lights, and I'm going all around, or try to. I might need to, because of the size of my garage, I need to dig it probably into, I'll use up the whole box, the whole 100 feet plus probably another 20 feet, so I have to dig into a second box for it. So pay attention to your length. Really, that's important, because you would suck if it comes up short. One thing really convenient, all these connectors, they have arrows on both sides, and male female that line up. They do have guides on the insides, right there and there. You just have to pair it up, and the seal, the O-ring meets up, and then you just cap it here. If you want to just dead end it, you can just cap it right there and hide it in under your trim right here. But this is kind of tight, so I'm gonna have a hard time just trying to install it that way. But let's do this. Oh, one really annoying thing about these lights is they all come with these, oh no, they come with, I'm trying to find it, they come with really like clear protective plastic covers, sheets, and you have to remove every single one of them. It's a pain in the butt. There's got to be some easier way to do this. So make sure the bottom of your eaves are clean. In this case, they're pretty clean. I gave them a wash before winter. They're pretty decent. And then you just have to line it up, and then stick it on and hold it there for a few seconds. It should tighten up quite a bit. In this case, on the other sides of the garage, I've been able to hide this cap. And the downside is the distance between, when you do join them up, the distance is almost like 1/4 longer than regular. So, if you like to have some proper distance between the two, you just probably shorten it, stick it closer, and then hide the access under this. But I can't on this section because it's too tight. That's why I'm not doing it. They do include 36, I think, if your 3M tape does fall off, or if you want something more permanent. They do include like 36 nail and clips, and I think that's too little, because you have way more than 36. So I'm not sure what those are for. Maybe it's for the higher parts of your house. But come on, EUFY, you got to give us more. There's got to be more. See, like right here, you can't really stick it, so I'd probably do it a little bit closer like this. Hold it there and hide the access like so. Thankfully, this is a little bit loose. Oh, my fingers are cold. But I'm doing this for you guys. They needed, EUFY wanted or would have preferred the video in February, and I was like, it's even colder in the end of January and February here in Maine, so it is what it is. I have one more step to play with here. We might, depending on how. So this is really nice. Okay. I might have to break out the taller ladder, but I think we're okay on this section. Installation is pretty easy. To be honest, installation is really easy, but to be honest, the most painful and longest, arduous thing is removing the tape from the lights. So it is what it is. But always make sure that your measurements are right, and you'll be fine. So I've come around the side, and this is the last bit, and I mentioned just now that I might just use one last length of lights from a second box. But what I'm gonna do to save the trouble is actually use the extension. There's a extension, I think this is 12 feet, an extension that comes with the second box as well, and I'm just gonna mate it on both ends just to pair it up. This is a back corner of the garage no one really sees anyway, so it's a small cheat, but this is what I'm gonna do. Just pair up both sides. Again, pairing is super easy. You just have to make sure that they mate up. Pull back the cap first. Make sure the arrows are lined up. Slot it in. Tighten it up for the waterproof seal. And really right now I'm just gonna hide the cables and go from there. Oh, I'm a little bit too short for this. I'm still not 100% sure why EUFY engineers figured that the light control box and the power adapter for an outdoor light shouldn't be water rated, but that's how it is with this thing. The instructions also say that you have to ensure that these components should be indoors, close to a power outlet. And I mean, EUFY provides also a long enough extension to run the line from an indoor outlet, then up and out to a ground floor eave. Or if you have an outlet tucked away under your deck or something, then that's fine too. But the fact that the competition like Govee and Novostella waterproofed their stuff in the first place does give me pause. However, to EUFY's credit, and I happen to spot this in the EUFY app, if you click get started here, and then there's this form you can fill out to get a free waterproof box to place the non-waterproof bits outdoors. Personally, I think it would have been nice if the E120 set came with some kind of T-junction connector so you can connect a run of lights clockwise and another counterclockwise from the power outlet. And I think this would have been extremely useful for users who, for example, want to run their lights only along the front facade of their, say, craftsman or ranch style house, but only have a single central outlet in the middle. The E120 can't cater to that because it has a one-ended terminal, so your SOL or need some kind of unsightly extension cord. Another technical concern I have is with the power supply that, if you look at the label, is rated for 54 watts max. And I hope this is a typo because I noticed interesting power draw readings. For example, at 25% brightness for either warm, cool, or white lights, my reader showed 15 watt draw for all three. But at 100%, warm draws the lowest at 45 watts, while cool and white comes in at 55 watts, which means they'll reduce the lifespan of that power brick pretty quickly. I'll tell you what, I love these EUFY 120s. I mean, they're not perfect, and as we discussed a second ago, a couple of the issues can be considered deal breakers for some folks. Still, you know what happens when you decide to go with one of these around your house? Yeah, you'll easily up your lighting game just like that. They're bright, they're punchy, and they're customizable up the yin-yang, have strong weather resistance as well. I think it was IP68 and down to like -4 or whatever Fahrenheit. Power efficient, plus I don't see this set being out of date in the next few years. And let's not forget the 6+ years lifespan of the LEDs themselves, assuming you run them 24/7. So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Remember to show your support, thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you like to see more videos like this. Check out my playlist, share this with your friends, and remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you all very much. Peace out and God bless. Whoosh.